Well, we still don't know what's going to happen in the Canadian Football League for the 2021 season. In this video, we'll talk about some significant changes that they have announced in the upcoming Canadian College Draft, and then I'll just give you my take on how I feel about everything. Hi there, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I have some more CFL news, some quick CFL news that I'll talk about and share the article that the CFL announced their plans to what they're going to do for the 2021 CFL Canadian College Draft. As you recall, as many things have been this year in 2020, as we call, it's definitely been a much crappy year, a bag of stinky diapers, as we like to say. Well, with this global pandemic with COVID-19, the season got cancelled. And that was kind of similar to what the NHL had to deal with in 2005, but it was the lockout that wiped out the 2004-05 season. That the NHL decided, well, who is going to draft first overall? That year also happened to be the Sidney Crosby year, where Sidney Crosby happened to be the player that was picked first overall, and the league came up with a system then on a weighted lottery to decide who get the first overall pick, and ultimately was the Pittsburgh Penguins. However, the CFL does not plan on doing that when it comes to the 2021 draft. However, there is one element that will be very similar to what the NHL did in the 2005 draft after they decided who was going to pick first overall with the lottery, is that they did the snake system. Let's say, for example, if you were the Pittsburgh Penguins and you got the pick first overall, then the next pick you would get wouldn't be until the end of the second round, which would have been 60th at the time, and then you get to pick 61st. That was the snake draft, where it's kind of an inverse of how that's going to work. So let's just share what the CFL has announced. As they said, they made significant changes, and I'll put the article in the description below, but the headline is 2021 CFL Draft to feature significant changes. As you know, there was no season, so we don't know who finishes where and ultimately wins the Grey Cup. But the Canadian Football League is tweaking its plans for the 2021 draft of the Canadian College from the youth sports in Canada, NCAA teams in the United States, and junior football. Which is also interesting, is that many leagues are still going on in the U.S., but I know that the youth sports in Canada also has been put on hold or cancelled because of the global pandemic. So general managers from the 9 teams proposed the changes, which were subsequently approved, so everyone's on board with these changes, by the CFL president serving as the CFL's management council. So here's what's going to be different in the 2021 Canadian College Draft. His draft order will be determined by a random draw that is equally weighted. So everyone's going to have the same odds to get the first overall pick in the 2021 CFL Draft. It was weighted when I go back to the NHL in 2005. It was based on team success in recent years. That I think if you missed the playoffs the previous 3 years, you get 3 balls in the lottery, and then every year that you made the playoffs, you lose a ball. So each team at least had 1 ball, if that makes sense. But it's going to be weighted equally. The teams traditionally pick eligible players based on the order of their records from the previous season. While with no season this season, you have to come up with something else. And then, teams traditionally pick their eligible players in order based on their previous season, with the team with the worst record more often not choosing first, barring trades to encourage parity. The 2020 CFL Draft followed the traditional format, but the CFL is not staging the season due to the pandemic. So the 2021 draft will feature the snake format, which means that whoever picks first overall will not pick until 16th and then 17th afterwards. So that means that after the teams pick in the first round, which the order is determined by a random draw, they will pick in reverse in the second round, and that pattern continues. For example, I said the team that picks 9th overall will pick first in the second round, so that's the other inverse. So if you were last in the first round, you get to pick the first pick in the next round. And then, also what's going to be different is the draft will be shorter, as the 2021 CFL Draft will only be 6 rounds instead of 8. So I guess whenever I make a video recapping what the Calgary Stampeders did in the 2021 draft, which I did this past year, there'll be only 6 rounds instead of 8. This is in recognition of the fact that the 2021 CFL training camps will feature a double core, they put in air quotes, of all Canadian rookies, which will include, because you're going to have two groups. Assuming we'll have a 2021 season, which I hope, and hopefully we're going to have fans, and the league definitely needs the fans in attendance to make money. But each team's going to have their group from that they drafted this past season and next season, duking it out. And then there will be no territorial selections in the 2021 draft, so they won't be looking elsewhere for global players. As these changes will have support of our clubs, and we are confident we would achieve the fairness of giving a group of excellent, promising Canadian talent to pursue the CFL dreams, said Greg Dick, head of football operations of the CFL. And then, Randy Ambrosi appreciates the spirit of collaboration shown by the league. And then also, touches on that university level football on each side of the Canada-U.S. border has also made adjustments that could affect players to participate in the draft or are eligible to begin playing in the CFL in 2021, which hopefully that is going to be the case. And then it also touches on other policies, but it says in light of these changes, the CFL will allow the 2021 draft eligible players to further pick till 2022 because of the pandemic. And I know that many universities are granting players who, let's say, were eligible to play in their fifth season this season, but if the season doesn't happen, that they'll still get to be allowed to play in the following season. And these are the other things you got to think about, not just with football, but other leagues, with especially with hockey being skewed right now, and who knows what's going to happen, basketball and college, that things are going to be skewed because of everything that's been going on. And then the CFL Draft will be held next spring, the exact date not to be determined, but usually the CFL Canadian College Draft has always been scheduled, the first week of May. So I'm expecting that it will be around the first week of May that the Canadian College Draft will come, and if I'm still making videos then, which I still plan to do, I'll recap what the Calgary Stampeders did in the 2020 CFL Draft. So I just got to ask, what do you think of what the CFL is proposing for the 2021 CFL Draft? I guess it's also kind of hard to compare football and hockey when it comes to needs. I mean, most players that get drafted come in right away, but whoever gets drafted first overall, it's two different animals to compare. Hockey and football. It was definitely clamoring for Sidney Crosby, obviously, in 2005, and there was all the speculation that if they didn't have a draft, then he'd be a free agent, and he has turned out to be a generational talent, but that's the only other example I can think of, a draft that followed the season that didn't happen, so you have to wonder how you're going to seed everyone. And ultimately for this past season, the NHL made the right decision to wait until playoffs were over before they had the draft, because there were proposals that they wanted to have the draft before the return to play came, and that would have also been a logistical nightmare. But I think with this football being the way it is, most teams will probably draft best player available on their need, but it'd be a different approach with the snake draft as well, depending on finding your best player available or change the strategy. So that's what that's what I think about the Canadian College Draft. I think it's the fair system. The fact that we did not have a season, and then give players a chance to decide, if I'm eligible to be drafted in 2021, that maybe they'd be better off to wait till 2022. Hopefully have a season to actually play in normal circumstances to showcase for 2022. So as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, but I also do personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also do share my experience with them on the road or at a sporting event. So if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, you know what you need to do, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below for other ways you can follow me. So as I say, go Stamps go, and yeah, right now it's November. I'm probably going to make a video talking about how I'm missing the CFL playoffs and the Grey Cup later this month, but that's for another video. So as I say, go Stamps go, and I'll see you in the next video.